Welcome to the School of Wordcraft and Worldmancy. This is Feedback Frenzy.
Hello, this is WriterGreg, and welcome to the School of Worldcraft and Worldmancy. It is a feedback frenzy. We are going through the articles and fiction that was submitted at wgc.bz/submit, and we are going to be reviewing the content provided by viewers here at WriterGreg. And thank you so much for those of you who are in the channel watching these live, and all of those who are watching the replays on the Twitch highlights or on YouTube. So there we go. We're going to go into, and we have an article here from James. This is the Future Scene homepage, and it looks like we're going to be reading about brown bears. So let's reset this. All right, so it looks like we pretty straightforward. This is another article for the World Building Summer Camp 2021. A plant or animal that lives in an inhospitable region. Okay. Pixel Bay references, codex. Beautiful image. Bears are just such beautiful animals. Scary, but beautiful animals. All right, so here, this page here looks, let's take a comment about the looks of the page. Pretty straightforward. This was a World Anvil Summer Camp article, so probably just really straightforward, to the point, to be able to participate in the competition. So not a lot of design elements taken into consideration here. So let's zoom in and we'll focus on the text. Okay. I already know. Having two eyes. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, brown bears. Brown bears are quadrupeds and are binocular. Brown bears live about 20 to 30 years and can weigh up to 318 kilograms. Brown bears mostly live solitary lives. The two exceptions to this, firstly, when a male and female brown bears are together for mating season, and secondly, because the female bear looking after her cubs. These bears reach sexual maturity at 3.5 to 6 years old. After the mating season, female bears don't ovulate again for 2.5 to 6 years. The gestation period is 180 to 270 days. Location. Bears live in the mountains and forests of Central Europe, North America, and Asia. The biggest of these bears can be found in Alaska and British Columbia. The pelts that the UK gets are from this region. Brown bears are omnivorous, so they have a varied diet of roots, fruits, reptiles, salmon, and honey. Since bears hibernate during the winter time, a bear eats around 32 kilograms to 41 kilograms of food per day. This is 2 times as high as they would eat during springtime. Utility. Brown bears are mainly hunted for their pelts and to make living areas safer when they prowl into areas where people may be living. These pelts are prominently hung in city halls in the UK, as with the mace in the House of Parliament. They are used to show authority that the government can pass laws. This is the same for bear pelt, that without it, the city hall cannot pass laws. I think, no need for a comment. Yeah, that's fine. These pelts are hung in the city hall behind the main desk on the bottom floor. How are they living in an inhospitable region to people? They don't live in the inhospitable region to people. It is the bears that are there that makes it inhospitable to people. Without the bears, the region would be more hospitable. Okay, that's an interesting point of view on that. Okay, so this is, I think, a good, straightforward, almost book report type article about brown bears. And so one of the concepts that I really like to preach during these kind of feedbacks is, first of all, it needs to have one idea per sentence, one concept per paragraph. I talk about those incessantly. But then the next thing after that is it needs to have one theme for per section or per article. And of course, the theme for this article, or the topic for this article, is brown bears. But then when we start getting into these subsections, it breaks down a little bit and gets a little bit muddied. For example, I like location and I like diet. Those are two good title headers that we have for these different things. But up here, we really don't have a title for this, but it does talk a lot about the reproductive cycles of it and the sociality, or the fact that they live solitary lives. So if I were to browse this article really quickly to see if I want to read it, I would see that there's nothing about rearing of young or mating seasons. And so then I could probably skip this article, even though the information I want is, right there. And this utility section kind of confused me as well. But why don't we go into the 5 letters to critique this? What was awesome about this page? Unfortunately, nothing stood out as awesome. It's a good, solid, straightforward article about brown bears. Bored? No, I wasn't bored because I love bears. Bears are awesome. They're a wonderful creature, majestic, beautiful creatures. So I was not bored with that. Confused. The things that confused me mostly was the choice of some headers and the exclusion of others. For example, I think it would be great if we did have a section about the reproductive habits of it. Well, not so much the biological aspects of it, but you could talk about these things that you have here about the solitary lives, bear sociology, if you will. We do not have descriptions. We do not have, you do talk about here about all of these different continents that the brown bears live on, but are all brown bears, are they still called brown bears? Because I know there are just so many different types of bear, grizzly bear, black bear, brown bear, polar bear, all different types of bears. So when it does say that the brown bear specifically lives in all of these, I'm wondering if brown bears truly specifically live in all of these, because I thought the grizzly bear is more likely to be found in Alaska and British Columbia. And then we talked about the pelts. Okay, this sentence here, the pelts, has nothing to do with the location, but it does have a lot more to do with the utility, because that's where you put a lot of the information about the pelts. The Kodiak and grizzlies. Thank you so much, Dazzler Cat. You're right. I did miss those two. Brown bears. Which paragraph? Oh, Kodiak and grizzly are types of brown bears. Okay, that's a subspecies of the brown bear. Okay, see, that's something I didn't know, and that would be, maybe good to know because as someone who lives in the western United States where there are bears around, I thought brown bears, grizzly bears, and Kodiaks were separate, just as separate as black bear and uh, brown bears and polar bears are separate. So no, you could have a cousins or types of bears or something like that to help clarify that. All right, confused. Okay, delete. Nothing I'd really delete. Uh, expand upon. I would like to see more information about the different kinds of brown bears, as Dazzlecat is providing here in the chat. How are they related? How are they different? How do they compare? You can say brown bears are bigger than black bears. Brown bears live farther south than polar bears. Do they ever, I mean, what's the sociology? You talked a little bit about how they're mostly solitary except for when they take a mate. Are there other times when they're a little bit more social? Um, just curious. Do bears get in fights? I don't know. Utility. See, now this is where this article it dances a fine line between what is in the world of future scene versus what is actually in, you know, Earth Prime that we're all living in here. Because you talked a lot about these pelts, which, they have to be hung in the city hall or they can't pass laws. See, that's an interesting thing that you have there. Um, and I would believe that would be specific to the future scene world. But I'm not sure about that. So maybe having that called out more specifically would be really cool. This social congregations during salmon runs. Excellent point. We do see those pictures or those National Geographic where they have 20 bears all fishing salmon at the same place. So is that the exception to the rule? Who knows? All right. How are they living in an inhospitable region to people? Now, I believe that this paragraph, or this section, was tacked on at the end to make it apply to the World Anvil, the World Anvil Summer Camp competition. So actually, I would recommend deleting that paragraph and that header completely. I guess I do have a delete because it really doesn't serve the article itself, but the concepts that are taught in there I still think are good. I think it's kind of funny that you say that the bears are the reason why it's inhospitable and inhospitable to humans. So you kind of around the way you defined what is inhospitable. And I like that by the definition of, oh, it's inhospitable because of the bears. Well, would it be more beneficial for an article like this to talk what's inhospitable for the bears? Interesting. Interesting thought about that. So, fun article, good article, has a lot of great potential to go forward. Yeah, I would love to see a lot more information about the different varieties of brown bears and how they may differ from their close cousins, the black bear, the polar bear, the sun bear. Who knows? All right. Thank you, James, for submitting this article, and thank you all who are here to take part in the feedback frenzy. Dazzlecat, thank you so much for all of the comments in the chat. And if you would like to have your content submitted for a future feedback frenzy, please visit wgc.bz/submit, where you could submit your own information, your own content for review in a future feedback frenzy. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Thanks for watching this feedback frenzy. Be sure to show your support by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the notification bell. WriterGreg offers coaching sessions to help bring your world to life, create compelling stories, and accomplish your creative goals. Please visit wgc.bz/coaching for more details.